International Corporate Obligations, Human Rights, and the Urbaser Standard, Breaking New Ground, by Kevin Crowe and Lina Lorenzoni-Escobar. When Urbaser versus Argentina appeared, human rights lawyers saw an inroad to corporate liability under international law. Should they believe the hype? The author's counsel caution. The backdrop is asymmetry. Investment law gives investors a cause of action against states, but gives states none against investors, and it grants investors rights without imposing obligations. As the Rosales Tribunal put it, the BIT imposes no obligations on investors, only on contracting states. This one-way street is the core of investment law's crisis of legitimacy. The facts: in 1999, Urbaser's consortium took a water and sewage concession covering 1.7 million low-income residents of Buenos Aires, where only 35% had drinking water and 13% had sewage. After Argentina's financial crisis froze tariffs, the investors claimed expropriation. Argentina counterclaimed the failure to invest in expanding coverage violated the human right to water. The tribunal did something unprecedented. It heard the counterclaim and affirmed that investors can bear obligations under international law. One cannot reject by necessity. It said, the idea that a foreign investor company could be a subject of international law obligations. It read the BIT not as a closed contract, but as part of general international law, implying, for the first time, a symmetrical treaty. But look closely at the three standards Urbaser sets out. First, an obligation not to aim at destroying human rights, nominal, since no investor will ever admit such an aim. Second, an obligation to perform the human right to water, found inapplicable, because no such corporate duty exists in human rights law today. Third, an obligation to abstain of immediate application, but reserved for the gravest violations. The sleeper in the award is corporate social responsibility. Urbaser treats CSR as an international standard attaching to corporate subjectivity, which means a company's own published commitments could become the yardstick for performance obligation. As one law firm warned its clients after the award, human rights counterclaims may expose investors to financial liability. So what actually changed? Counterclaims gained footing. A manifest link to the same investment now suffices for jurisdiction, and human rights arguments can expect more space in arbitration. But Urbaser offers no theory of corporate human rights obligations. Two standards are nominal, and the third confirms the status quo. Groundbreaking for the theoretician, merely the status quo for the practitioner. The conclusion: investors are now duty bearers in principle, and Urbaser takes a definite position on investment law as general international law. The paradox is practical. Legal uncertainty may discourage CSR commitments, or push the corporate sector to demand a CSR treaty that defines its risk. Urbaser provides no definite answers, but it leaves the door open for a more holistic investment law. The Urbaser Standard, Breaking New Ground, Crowe and Lorenzoni-Escobar.